Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or as I like to call it, our little corner of the internet, which I love so very much. I am so excited to go over these clips with you today. I think it's going to be a longer one. I just kept finding clips that I wanted to include. I even had to take some out and say, I'm saving this for tomorrow. I want to remind you that this is for entertainment purposes only. And I want to start out by saying that there is a member of our amazing community who is going through a really difficult time. This has been a tough week of loss. And I just want to ask that we all send positivity and prayers. They want to be anonymous. They don't want it to be a thing, but if we could all just put some energy out there for our friend, that they feel some comfort in this moment of just a very difficult time in their family. So if you guys could do that, I would really appreciate it. And just know that I am sending out positivity and love and all good things out to you. So I hope things are going well today. And I also want to say, we're just going to do a whole section on this wildfire thing because it's just, there's a lot to it. We're going to start with that. So if you're not interested in hearing about that, that's crazy. But also you can just skip on ahead because there's other stuff after that little middle part that I do. Yeah. Okay, let's get to it. Love to our friend, and let's hit it. Magic.
The whole entire hills are on fire. Holy shit.
Is this real? This is crazy. They're saying that they're spotting these. This was spotted after hearing low frequency humming outside the plane, but oh my God, is this for real? How much more obvious can this whole thing get? That is scary. That one at the end, it just looked like the Hot Wheels logo just flying through the sky. My God. Prayers go out to California as well. And down south still. That is still a thing. Don't forget, guys. Here's some more wildfire. Listen. Okay, this says, flying above international waters. Does anyone want to explain what I'm seeing? This was the same day that the LA fires started. So.
Flying above international waters. Anyone want to explain what I'm seeing? This was the same day LA fires started.
I'm just going to turn that down so it doesn't get copyright banned. But look at this. What is going on? This is not something we should be messing around with. People, we need answers. This is unacceptable if this is something that is happening to us, by us. And by us, I mean the people that we believe protect us. But I know, we all know that's not true. But there should be some level of care from our own government, of our own people. Like, what? There's something very wrong if we really believe that this was intentional. But let's hear. If you didn't think it was intentional, you may after this.
Okay, so California's on fire, but we have like the best fire department in the world, right? We should be able to contain this, right?
I mean, we did, but the mayor cut the fire department's budget last year, so not enough personnel for this one.
What? Well, I mean, we don't need everybody. We just need a certain amount to spray the area with water.
Oh my God, I love that you say it. It's so funny because the state actually depleted its water reserves a couple months ago, so the firefighters literally don't have enough water to fight the fires with.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. We're in a drought, and so we depleted our water reserves? Well, at least the people that have fire insurance will be getting some money, right?
Ooh, this is awkward. Okay, don't get mad at me, but insurance companies like State Farm has not been allowing renewal of fire insurance policies since 2 months ago, and it's been canceling a lot of contracts.
So let me get this straight. 2 months before the fire, the state depleted its water reserves. Insurance companies have been canceling this fire insurance policy. It's like it's Maui all over again. But it's not like the state needs to free up a whole bunch of land to open up a new smart city infrastructure, right? Because we haven't announced anything like that, did we? The LA district might have announced plans to set up a smart city by 2028. So it's like Maui all over again. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, make up your own mind. I'm not telling you what to think, but as I've said before, I'm just trying to get you to think, because that's what we need to be doing right now. That's a lot of coincidences that line up in a bad way. Here's another.
Well, by the sheer incompetence of California politicians. Did you hear the news or what?
Are you talking about the fact that the California wildfires appear to line up in the same exact path as the proposed California high-speed rail system? Also, TikTok has announced that it will be officially shutting down operations in America on January 19th. So say bye-bye. Oh, and the Japanese Yakuza leader has pled guilty to attempting to traffic nuclear materials through New York City. That's weird. That's pretty weird.
So you're saying the whispers of nuclear materials being in New York City are true? Good to know. Also not what I'm referring to. Firefighting aircraft collides with drone over the Palisades fire last night. 10 million LA residents receive accidental evacuation warning. Nah, bro, Paris Hilton says her heart is shattered after seeing her burned down palace in LA.
Everyone pray for Paris!
I get it, guys. I get it. Celebrities have everything. We should worry about the people who don't, who are going to have trouble rebuilding. I get it, but these are all people. And the truth is, we don't know who's bad and who's good anymore, especially in that realm. It's kind of like across the board, not looking great. But to wish bad on anybody or to say that they need help any less, I mean, I can't do that. I just want everybody to be safe and for disclosure to come upon us soon in a little bit, because how much longer do we just go on with all these things that make no sense? How are there no answers of the drones? How are there no answers of these fires that it's crazy. I saw along the coast, all of these buildings that I think it was in Malibu, that the buildings were just scorched, but there were plants in planters up against the buildings that weren't. How does that make sense? How did the fire not get the plants, but it only got the buildings, and it didn't get all of the buildings, and it doesn't make sense? Make it make sense. Hey guys, just a quick reminder that I make these videos every day, Monday through Friday. So if you're enjoying the content, go on ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can join this amazing community that we're building. It's a lot of fun. I'm just going to say that. I have a lot of fun. So I hope you do that. And thank you for spending some of your night here. We're just going to get back to it. Yes. So meanwhile, that's what's going on the West Coast. We got some stuff happening over on the East Coast still. It's easy to put it aside because we have pressing matters, but they aren't the only ones.
And this is for propane?
This is just for propane.
We're gonna try and drop some groceries off. Holy shit.
And the other direction too.
Oh my god.
Shit.
That is to get heat, buddy, so people can be warm tonight.
Oh my god.
No, it's not their house. They're just here to get some heat, buddy. is it going around?
It goes around.
It goes around. Oh, I don't even see the end.
That's where we're headed.
Excuse me, I had a little coughing fit there. But look at this, 3 miles of a line to go get propane. I mean, they're freezing. It's freezing out here. And even down south where it is arguably warmer, it's still gets cold. People still need and rely on this. There's no way this propane place has enough propane for everyone to get everything they need to stay warm. This is awful. And, oh, here's something I wanted to mention. I saw it on the news a little bit earlier today. I had a clip. Oh my gosh, let me find it. You know what? I'm going to play it. I was going to save it for tomorrow, but I want to say something. This is one more thing about the wildfire thing. And then there's other things, but. So there is no sound. That's fine. This is a line. The National Guard is allowing people to enter only one at a time, and they have to be escorted to collect items from their burned Pacific Palisades homes. Quote, grab what you need because you will not be allowed back. Now, as you watch this, I will tell you what I witnessed on the news was mayor, whoever, sheriff, somebody in charge saying that they were cutting this off. They were no longer going to escort people into to get their things from their homes because there's just too many people who have stuff that they love. But it's not just stuff. These people are trying to get back to their pets and things like that. Like, and they're trying to tell you that you can't get in because it's not safe and we don't have enough people to escort you. Yeah. Okay, I'd love to see you stop me. I would love to watch someone try. Look, you guys know I'm a nice person, but there are limits. And we all have that thing inside us that comes out when it needs to. Ain't nobody stopping me from going to get my dog. And I'll tell you that right now. Or somebody that I love that's stuck in there, or helping. I mean, that's just not happening. You don't have enough guards to come escort me into my house. You certainly don't have enough to stop me. We're just gonna move on. I just wanted to share that because that's some outrageous stuff, and this stuff needs to start getting talked about and not just buried underneath other news like it seems always happens. It happened with the hurricanes and everything else. We just forget. It's like vapor. It's not. We can't do that. This is unacceptable to keep letting it happen. Like those people in Lahaina are still dealing with what they're dealing with. And we're just like multiple disasters ahead of them now. And doesn't mean it's not still going on. 3 miles of propane. All right, let's get back on track. This is weird, and this is in California, but it's not really related to the wildfires that I can tell. We're moving on from that topic, but...
What the fuck? Finally something in Anaheim happens. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. We have customers.
Oh shit.
Now we have you see the light? Behind it, the red light?
Oh, that's what I was telling you. What the fuck is that? I'm gonna step back. It's gonna zap us.
Oh my god. Hey, amiga.
Hey.
Amiga. You wanna see? Do you see that?
What the hell is that? Holy shit! What the fuck?
Yeah. Can anyone explain this mysterious smoky cloud ring type thing going on in the sky out here? I feel like this isn't the first time we've seen things like this, but it feels really convincing. What do you think? What is it? Please tell me. Here's a story.
I got an email from a woman named Lynn who told me she saw one of my psychotic roommate story times and wanted to share her story about being a live-in nanny for a very wealthy family in Aspen, Colorado. The wife apparently was very popular or is very popular on social media, and the husband is just like quietly probably a billionaire. She says she doesn't know how much money they had, but it was a lot, and their behavior is nothing short of just outrageous. So I don't really know what to make of this, but I'm just going to tell you what she said in her email. So she has said she's not originally from this country, but she's very Americanized. She's been here for a long time. And it was always part of her plan that she was going to be a live-in nanny. She'd been doing it for a long time and was looking for a new host family. So one of her friends put her in contact with a woman that she knew through her employer, and she goes to interview with this woman. The house is nothing short of a mansion. It's tucked into the mountains with giant glass windows, and the house is pristine, beautiful. She said walking in, it felt like a movie set. There was no sign of life that anyone actually lived there. She meets the husband and the wife. They tell her they have 2 children. They tell her that they are pretty strict. They have a lot of rules in the household. And the husband is not really talking throughout this whole thing while the wife is talking. And she asks her about her experience as a nanny. She asks her very personal questions like, does she have a boyfriend? Does she keep a diary? How often does she talk to her family? The woman tells her if she takes the job that she will have 2 weeks paid vacation, but that she's not allowed to have any outside guests at the house ever. The woman tells her they travel a lot. She asks if she has a valid passport, and she says that she'll be expected to make all of the trips with the family as they deem appropriate. Lynn said the pay was pretty modest considering the scale of their wealth, but it seemed like a pretty good deal, so she accepts the job. She meets their kids. They're a boy and a girl. They're about 5 and 9, and the kids are quiet throughout the entire introductory process. They barely say anything besides hi. When she moves in, she's handed a list of rules and regulations for the children that she's expected to follow the rules. At first seemed pretty crunchy, Aspen mommy, as she described it. Things like no sugar, no toys with noise, no TV, no screen time. There's also a few things on the list that Lynn described as a little bit odd. One thing was no red foods, not red dye, no red foods, because the mom said that they stain. So no red meat, no red apples, no red onions. Also, no foods that had ever at any point been packaged in plastic. Also on the list is no storytelling and no conversations that have not.
Wait, because I'm going to forget to ask you this later, and I need to know. How many of you have suffered an apple stain? Because it's red. Please tell me. This has never occurred to me. This seems like something else. I've never known an apple to stain. But can you imagine?
Not already been approved by the mother. And ask the mother what she means by this, and the mother tells her, don't talk to them about anything that I haven't already approved. So I'll give you a list of all of the conversation topics that you're allowed to answer questions on. If it's not that, default to me. She also tells her that the children both must be in bed by 7:12 p.m. and not a minute later. Lynn was disciplined a lot while living with this family. She said the first time it happened was a few weeks after she moved in. The 9-year-old girl didn't know how to tie her shoes, so Lynn was trying to show her when the mom walks in the room and she says, what are you doing? And she says, I'm trying to teach her how to tie her shoes. And the mother said, I gave you a list of what you were allowed to teach them and what you were allowed to talk to them about, and tying her shoes is not on it. I have a parenting plan. That's not part of it. Please stop. So Lynn stopped. She said the children were extremely well behaved and very, very quiet. Not like any kids that she had nannied before. But she gets called into the mother's office, and the mother basically rips into her and tells her, like, you need to take these rules and regulations that I gave you seriously. And Lynn apologizes, and she says she will. She said basically it wasn't her place to determine how to parent. They weren't her kids. So even though it felt a little bit more like training a dog than it did like raising a child, she decided that she was just going to take the mother's word for it. At this point in her email, Lynn also mentioned that there was a wing of the house that was padlocked and nobody was allowed back there. When Lynn asked the mother what was behind there, she just said it was storage, and even the children weren't allowed to go back there and not to worry about it. Sometimes the parents would have company and they would all bring them to the storage area of the house at night, but Lynn was in her room, and honestly it wasn't her business, so she didn't really mind. She said another strange thing the mother did was sometimes she would be in the children's bedrooms, like at night, reading them a bedtime story, and she would notice the mother would just be like standing outside their bedroom doors, like watching. She was never smiling, she was just staring at them, and sometimes she would say, I'll take it from here, and she would put them to bed herself. She said playing with the children was strange also. Like, the children didn't play on their own. It was like they were always waiting for instruction on what to do. Lynn tried to encourage them to use their imagination, but they would just stare at her and say, what should we do next? One night, the older girl, the 9-year-old, wakes up in the middle of the night and she's screaming, and Lynn goes into her room to comfort her, and she tells her that there's a woman with a glass face standing in the garden. She brings this up to the mother the next day, and the mother just tells her, yeah, we know about the lady with the glass face, don't worry about it. The older daughter's nightmares or seeing the woman with the glass face continues. She keeps complaining about it, and Lynn is growing more and more concerned for her. She thinks she's got like some trauma or just something unresolved that causes her to wake up in the middle of the night. So she brings it up to the mother again, and the mother gets angry, and she says, I told you not to talk to me about it. We know about it. It's being dealt with. Lynn is disciplined again a few weeks later when one night she wakes up in the middle of the night. She's thirsty. She goes to the kitchen, and she was told when she was hired that basically she got a grocery allowance, but she notices there's like a glass jar of ginger juice in the fridge, and she takes a drink of it because she thinks it'll help settle her stomach. I guess she wasn't feeling well. I don't know. She hears noise coming from the padlocked wing of the house, so she walks over, and she described the noise as chanting from a large group of people. She doesn't really know what to make of it, so she just goes back to bed. The next day, she's called into the mother's office again. The mother lectures her on waking up in the middle of the night. She says she's expected to sleep through the night. She also tells her the ginger juice was not part of her grocery allowance, and she will be docking the cost of the glass of juice that she had from her paycheck. Lynn said she wasn't expected to keep up with chores around the house. They had a different staff for that. But one day the mother tells her she needs help setting up the dining table. So Lynn begins to set the dining room for company, and the mother says no in this part of the house, and she brings her back, opens the padlock, and they go into this other wing of the house, and she said it was like a whole other house in there. There were bedrooms, there was bathrooms, there was a kitchen, and there was a huge dining room with a giant wooden table and a very strange human-like sculpture in the middle of the table. The mother says this is the table we'll be setting, and she shows her a cabinet full of fine china, and she has her set the table for 14 people. The mother tells her that night they're having company, and she's expected to attend and sit with the children. So she gives her this new nice black dress. She says, you're wearing this. And that night, 9 guests arrive, and they all sit around the table. Lynn is sitting with the 2 children. The mother tells her beforehand, don't speak unless spoken to. And at one point in the dinner conversation, a man looks at her and then looks at the parents and says, why is there an outsider here? Lynn ignores this comment. She continues tending to the children, who don't speak a word throughout the entire dinner. After the dinner, the mother pats her on the back and says, you did great. She instructs her to take the children to bed as it's 7:10 p.m. She gets them to bed. She goes back down to the kitchen because she's like nosy, and she hears from behind the padlock door that same chant. She says she has absolutely no idea what they were doing, but if anyone has any insight, please let her know. She says she has a million more strange things that happened while she was nannying at this house, but ultimately she quit because she didn't like how the children were being treated. She ultimately felt more like a servant than a paid employee of the family.
Well, technically, I mean, you are part of the serving staff. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and say this story intrigued me because there's just so many facets to it. This is obviously someone that maybe not all of us know of, but it's some sort of kind of well-known influencer out there. So that's a level of intrigue of like, who is it? I guarantee I don't know who they are, but it's just wild. And also just to see, it seems like when people get a certain level of money, the weird comes in. Like, you got all the stuff, you got the houses, the cars. Okay, now what? Let's be weird. It just seems like that's a part of it, because I don't understand why someone would not want to have their child learn how to tie their shoes. It seems like some weird, bizarre control thing. But, and not defending this person because most of it's weird, I will say that I went to high school with a girl who ended up over time, at post high school, we didn't stay in touch, but, we followed each other on Instagram or whatever that was. She ended up becoming a nanny, and she always worked for these high profile people. In fact, she worked for one of the Philadelphia Flyers for a really long time. And she essentially was like live in, and she would be their nanny and go on vacations with them. And she was like another part of the family for the entire time the kids were growing up. And she would post all these things about her adventures. And I know there's a lot too. I mean, she was lucky because it seemed like they just made her a part of the family. But you have to respect the way people want to raise their children. This person probably did the right thing exiting the situation, but there are some questions. Especially the chanting and stuff. I'm not okay with that. I don't know what you're involving me in, If I'm going to be involved in chanting, I want to know what we're talking about. All right.
We're right. I love that it used to be a diss for like people that were hippies, right? Where it's like, oh, they're tree huggers. But now science is starting to show that hugging trees actually reduces levels of cortisol, which is highly connected to stress and reduces blood pressure. Not only that, but it increases oxytocin as well, which is the same hormone that your body produces during moments of intimacy or emotional bonding. This dude's pretty awesome. He's called the Hug Doctor, and he recommends that every day you need a minimum of 21 seconds, either hugging a person or hugging a tree. And I know all of us have had experiences where you're out in nature, you're amongst the trees, and something feels different. The trees literally recharge you. The Japanese actually call this Shinrin Yoku. It means forest bathing. Don't look it up. The statistics, the data is amazing.
So, today I saw this clip last night and I really loved it because I do believe that there's definitely something about being in nature that makes you feel better. I believe, and I read this somewhere, that technically all of the things we need to heal us are right here on Earth. I do not doubt that being hugged with intention like that by someone that you love or going out to nature and connecting in that way is going to have good results for you. It just has to. And I did it this morning after I fed the chickens, and I wanted to show you so you know that I do these things too. So let me get out of the way because I don't need to be involved in this. That was my rooster. I just took care of the chickens and now I'm out looking for a tree in need of a hug. I think this guy. Hug a tree. It'll be good for your soul. It will be. I dare you. Go hug a tree. All right. Since we're on a little hippie segment here, here's something about lavender. I know we all know lavender is calming, but here's some other things about it.
But
not creepy. It's not creepy. I don't know why they say that. I hate that. It's just cool.
Thousands of years, people have reported hearing ethereal voices after walking through lavender fields. Scientists have discovered that lavender releases ultrasonic vibrations that resonate at a frequency humans cannot hear, leading some to believe that these whispers hold ancient secrets or messages from another realm. Smelling lavender can result in a meditative state that unlocks forgotten memories. Studies have shown that the aroma of lavender stimulates the hippocampus, immersing you in vivid recollections of past experiences and some even say past lives. Lavender is said to possess a unique ability to attract ethereal creatures known as ghost butterflies. These otherworldly insects documented across cultures are said to be messengers from the spirit realm. Many people have claimed to see these ghostly butterflies floating around lavender fields, carrying messages from departed loved ones.
I've also heard that butterflies carry messages. I think that's a beautiful thought. It's nice. But that's some pretty cool stuff about lavender. It's not just for calming. All right. Here's something from Google Earth. I know, my friends, some of you have told me a lot of these Google Earth things that people are finding have been debunked. I cannot speak to this one, but let me know if you know what this is.
I gotta show you something that I don't know how to explain at all. Either the government is building something insane or this is aliens.
Wow, what is it?
You know Google Earth, right?
Yeah.
Do you have Google Earth on your phone?
Probably not, but I'm just gonna Google them.
Okay. Well, I will do it on my phone real quick.
Yeah, Google Earth on your phone?
Yes. I'll punch in these coordinates on my phone myself. And what I see is so wild, Mike. Pretty much, bro. When you punch in these coordinates on Google Earth, it will take you to this random part of the Earth that's like a barren wasteland. For miles, there's nothing. No town, no whatever. And the only way I can explain this thing is it looks like a portal or something, dude. Don't know how to explain this. I don't know what this looks like, Mike. That's the best way I can describe it. All around it, for miles, are hella tanks defending it. I swear to God. For miles, dude, the hella tanks spread out. You can't even get close to it.
And this
how
is
many
real.
tanks? And this is real.
What the
I'll show you right now.
Let me see.
All right, first, I just pasted this okay? Look, it's in there.
Yep.
What the is this?
Let me see.
And then zoom and look around all over the desert.
What the is this?
Mike.
It's like a Death Star.
Go around the whole desert.
Oh, no, there actually is like tanks.
Keep going.
They're hella spread out.
Hella of them.
What the?
Hella of them.
But dude, what is that black? And there's like something like a looking.
Here, wait. I'll pause it. You guys can write down those coordinates if you want. All right, there. If you wish to look this up yourself. There you go. Boom.
Something like a looking across from it that like mirrors it too. What is this? Let me zoom out. Bro, that's in America. Bro, that's in California. Bro, there's for sure hundreds of tanks.
Dude.
All around the, cause
and you see how they're all pointing away from it.
Yeah, they're low-key blending in.
Bruh.
I don't know. What do you think? It does look kind of like the Death Star. Or not the Death Star. Oh my God. You guys know. Here is, in case you're wondering what first contact will likely be like.
Everything is about to change. Over the course of the next few years, there will be certain things that will occur. Ships may appear over your oceans just offshore. It will not move. They will remain there to give you time to get used to the idea that we are here, to get used to the idea that this is the beginning of a great change upon your planet, of a great change in your society. You will start to see more orbs of light, so you may see some of these orbs descend and again remain fixed in a particular position that is non-threatening, giving you time to observe them, to record them, to discuss them, to start to understand that they are there as now something that can become a relatively permanent fixture in your reality, to broaden your understanding of what reality is. Between the ships and the orbs, it may give you an opportunity to start really letting in the idea that everything is about to change.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Test the waters, see how it goes, give people a chance. We're already kind of dismissing things as, whatever those drone things are. It's fine. Just live with it. It kind of makes sense. It's all baby steps into the ultimate plan. Here are some safety tips from an ex, I think he's Secret Service. Yeah, he's a retired Secret Service agent. Now, I want to preface this because I already know people are going to be like, I would hate to live that paranoid. I understand that. That is not, the goal is not to make you live paranoid. The goal is to make you live with awareness, because this is not back in the times when we could just go to the mall and everything felt safe and you could get out of your car or whatever. We have cell phones now and they are extreme distractors. So you just need to maybe not implement everything, but just think about things. All that we're asking here is that you're mindful for your own safety. It's worth it. It's not worth becoming a news article.
I said I was going to give you a couple safety tips. This isn't rocket science, but here we go. When you're going into a store, when you park your car, get off your phone. Put your phone in your pocketbook or your pocket, whatever, and just stay off your phone. Same thing, going in, going out. Stay off your phone. Ladies, especially you, listen, when you're parked here, if you come out and there's a car parked right beside you, and I mean super close to the line or something like that, that should be a red flag. Is there somebody in the car? Is it a minivan? Has it got sliding doors? Is it an SUV? I'm not saying you can't go get in your car, but just pump the brakes, okay? No pun intended. Just take it easy. Take a little look around. Don't just willy-nilly get in the car. It might be fine. Could be something. I don't know. But when you're getting gas nozzle's doing its thing, lean up against your car. Just lean up against the car. Again, stay on the phone. Lean up against the car. Now you've cut your 360 down to 180. You can see. If somebody approaches you and they're up to no good, spray them with the gas. That's not cool. I wouldn't want to be sprayed with gas. They'll probably run off. When you're in a restaurant, don't sit with your back to the door. Be able to see the door. Know where the exits are. When you're at the movies or church or wherever, sit on the end. If you're a fighter, you can get up and go fight. If you're not wanting to fight, that's cool too. You can run, but you got to be able to get out, right? Don't be stuck in the middle of the row.
There was a point, my uncle, the same one who dressed like Santa that time that I told you guys about, if you recall, he was very into karate and fighting, and like more technically than, you know, boxing or fighting. He was more into the technicals of the art of fighting. He did competitions and things like that. But I've talked to him about this a little, and he said he went through this period of time when he was so paranoid that he wouldn't sit unless his back was, you know, unless he was facing the entrance or door. If he went to a restaurant, his back was to a corner, he would ask for a corner spot. He got to a point where he had to back off of it because it was driving him to be so untrusting. You have to have a fine line of being safe and being untrusting. It kind of reminds me of this time when I was in college and I went for a jog. I went to a park. I drove myself to the park. I think I drove there and didn't jog there. But I know that I was tired. I've been running for a while, and a van pulled up. There was nobody else out there. It was just kind of in the middle of nowhere, park. And they just kept asking me if I was okay and how you doing and you need help and like all this stuff. But they made me so uncomfortable, and I kept saying, I'm good, you know, and running, of course, to get as far away from them as possible. And I just like, you know, that feeling, that fight or flight moment. And yeah, it was flight. I ran so far. It was like 5 seconds between they pulled up and I was out. And I don't care if they were trying to be nice and they thought I was rude. I really don't, because I felt like I was in danger. There was no one else around, and they pulled open a van to ask me if I was okay. Yeah, I'm falling for that. Be safe, guys. I'm not saying to be paranoid or become someone that is that untrusting, but trust your instincts and be smart. Your phone, it can wait. Your message can wait. The people that love you will wait. They want you to be safe. That down because I know it's going to be copyrighted, but look at that. So supposedly this is a truce. Now, I don't know if we can call it a truce, but it does appear there are termites and ants, and they have kind of a divided line there in the middle, and it's kind of tough to see. Let's see if I can. Oh, wow. I went all the way away. You can see the little ants and these guys. There's a line of each of them kind of soldiering the border just to be like, we're all going to stay in line here and get along. It's pretty amazing. I don't know how they know this, if they've had interviews with the termites and or the ants or their leaders, but what I do know is that definitely seems to be what's happening. And speaking of critters, here's a wolf pack on the move.
Have you ever seen that video? No. Pull that video.
Can I just say, I very much dislike that people keep putting this Joe Rogan clip at the beginning of anything. Ugh, it's so annoying. Come on.
Because it's one of my favorite.
A Canadian photographer captured a wolf pack's formation, and it's mind-blowing. Guess what? The leader isn't at the front. The three wolves leading the pack are noticeably bigger, but who'd guess they are the weakest in the group? They are the oldest, or the sick ones among the wolves leading the pack. They set the pace and ensure they don't get left behind. A smart move, but they'd be the first casualties in an attack. The second tier is where the real strength lies. They are the young and strong ones, quick to react and exceptionally fierce. They would swoop in and target the attackers while the old wolves engage. Then comes the third tier. These are the women and children of the pack. Not very strong, but they are the future, so they walk where it's safest. Next up is the fourth tier, just as tough as the second tier. They act as the bodyguards. This formation is genius. Even if there's a surprise attack from behind, the women and children remain safe. It also buys time for the other tiers to react and assist. And lastly, there's this lone wolf keeping a distance from the pack. He is the leader, always watching over the pack.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I love these observations that people make. It's amazing to know how it works. They're very smart. I wonder if they would do better if they had, you know, maybe I'll give them a suggestion. If they had two lines next to each other. Not just one line. Just a thought, guys.
At a 1991 closed-door meeting of fellow internationalists, billionaire and former CFR chairman David Rockefeller praised his media allies, but his confidence that his words would not leave the room was later broken.
We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other publications whose directors have attended our meetings and restricted their promises of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the bright lights of publicity. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march toward a world government.
That these men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire world.
Oh, man. I did that thing I used to do. It doesn't matter. All I was saying is that it's interesting to hear it right directly from them, from the Rockefellers, which publications were kind of going along with the plan the whole time. Sorry, I muted it so I could cough and then... But that's all I said. Here's some creepy doorbell cameras. 2 of them.
Coming up in this video.
Let's skip for it.
Coming up in this video.
I want to come in. The house is on fire. You are currently being recorded.
Knock knock. Who's there? You don't want to know. These are 30 scary videos caught on doorbell cameras. Number 30. Fire erupts. When a fire erupted at a home in Mesa, Arizona, these neighbors were on it. This footage shows the heroes racing to the homeowner's front door to warn them.
Yeah, their house is on fire. I know, I'm knocking on the door. There's nobody answering.
They wait for an answer, and finally one comes through the Ring doorbell.
Can I help you? The house is on fire. Your house is almost on fire. Okay, thank you.
The homeowner gets one of her children out and goes back in for another.
I've been telling you that. Can you help me? Yeah, come on. Help me? Come on. Somebody help me. Look.
After getting the child to safety, the neighbor races back to help further. Again, he returns, but it looks like the house has been evacuated.
Need more help?
The fire consumes the home before the firefighters get to work.
Look at that.
Huh?
But thanks to their caring neighbors, this family made it out of the home alive. To me, this is the perfect example of what a neighbor should be. Number 29, Bobcat Encounter. This 7-year-old girl spotted a bobcat on her Arizona street. Understandably frightened, she runs to a nearby house and rings the doorbell.
Hi, Lauren. I'm on my way right now. I'll be out soon, okay? No, please come open the door. There's a bobcat. I want to come in. Please.
It's heartbreaking to hear how scared she is, and sadly nobody is home here, but the residents talk to her remotely via the doorbell camera.
Anyone home? We'll be home in 1 minute, sweetie. Just stay right there. I really want to come in. I think my mom's at home and I saw it. It's fine. Just stay there, okay? We're literally turning the corner. Stay on the phone, okay?
The homeowner is right around the corner, and they rush back to get this girl to safety.
Can you call my mom? Yes, I will definitely do that. As soon as I get you in my house safe, I will call your mom. I'm right by the car. I'm almost there. Are you in?
Fortunately, they made it back in time, and she was safe from the bobcat. Number 28.
I think that's all. But whoa. Can you imagine what a smart little girl going to a friend's house because that was closest? How lucky that... Oh, you know what? There we go. How lucky that those people were so close to their home. Oh my God. The Southwest is no joke. A lot of places are no joke, but not a lot of places have bobcats following you home. And the fire, how devastating. And how quickly it seemed to go up in flames if those neighbors didn't persist. And how annoyed that woman was at first. Can I help you? This is why you just be nice. Just be nice. We can all be nice and help each other. Man, we're really getting into it today. This is something about jabby things. Back from the 90s. Lisa Bonet, and in a separate interview, River Phoenix.
That's why I'm here, to share what information I've learned.
Yeah, now tell me, Lisa, you're not scared to do the vaccination, baby?
I'm scared, and I'm scared to vaccinate her, which is why I didn't vaccinate her in the first place, and which led me to read about the warnings that are out there. And what I've learned are there warnings about introducing these alien microorganisms into our children's blood, and the long-term effects, which could be trivial, or they could be quite hazardous, and they could be just allergies or asthma or sleep disorders, or they could be cancer, leukemia, multiple sclerosis, sudden infant death syndrome. It's very scary and it's very serious, and I think because I felt wrong doing it, that's why I didn't do it. And we have to think twice. Why are our children getting these diseases?
And what is the biochemical legacy of the vaccination? How long does it last, and what might it be its effect? Yeah. You're putting something into your baby's bloodstream. Everybody ought to think about that twice.
We get this official stamp, and someone's designated to give us this information, which isn't really known about or researched, and we find out the hard way, No one knew that, the pill in its original state, for women, birth control, and we'll get into this is a big one, but was so detrimental to health and the hormonal imbalance and all of the above.
He's right. And if you are a female who has been on birth control pills, I am sure that if you are 30 or 35, I'm not sure what age, but they start telling you you really shouldn't continue to be on it because of the effects it has on your body. It's wild. They don't tell you that when they give it to you, though, to start, do they? Maybe in the fine print. They love that fine print. All right. So the good clip, let me go back here. The good clip of the day is more philosophical. I had another one that I wanted to put in, but I just kept doing it. Like, we are almost at an hour. This is the longest one I've ever done, which has been great. And we've touched on all sorts of subjects, but I want to let you get back to your night. Or very, very early morning, as it were. So here's something to think about.
Once upon a time,
There was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, ran away. And all the neighbors came around that evening and said, that's too bad. And he said, maybe. The next day, the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it. And all the neighbors came around and said, why, that's great, isn't it? And he said, maybe. The next day, his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came round in the evening and said, well, that's too bad, isn't it? And the farmer said, maybe. The next day, the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army. And they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came round at the evening and said, isn't that wonderful? And he said, maybe. The whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it is really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequences of a misfortune, or you never know what will be the consequences of good fortune.
Ain't that the truth? And it's not just about fortune. It's not just about chance. It's about decisions that we make. It's about for me, starting this channel and talking with the people that I talk with and getting the opportunity to hear the perspectives that I hear and becoming friends with people, you know, and genuinely caring about you. It's something that, of course, when you do something like this, you hope, but when it really happens, it's just it's beautiful. And do you hear Purple? I'm sorry if you do. He's meowing to come in this room, but we're almost done, so I'm gonna keep him out there. But it's just wild. Life just goes in a direction that you never necessarily expect it to. And you really don't know what's around every corner. And things are blessings in disguises, and things that disguise themselves as blessings turn out to be not so great, but maybe the exact learning experience that we needed. And maybe we grow to a certain point, and then the next thing happens, and life is it's a book with chapters, and you have no idea where you're at in this book right now, and you have no idea what's ahead. All you know is what's happened, and you make the best decisions for your life. And if you're lucky, you get to meet some really amazing people along the way, like I am. But that doesn't happen until you take a chance and do the scary thing and put yourself out there for people to be, you know, not so nice to you or whatever. Just screw them. Screw them, because the people that are there are great and worth it. And I'm lucky. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I just want to say thank you guys for spending some of your night with me, more than usual. I took an hour of it, and I'm sorry if you had other stuff to do and didn't expect it to be that long. The other thing that I want to say is that, and I'll talk about this tomorrow again, because I don't know if everybody got through the whole thing, but I plan on going live next Monday. I'm going to say 7. That's not set in stone. I just need to do a little more research to figure out how to integrate the system that I use with YouTube. I don't know anything about this. I'm not a technological person, by any means. So I'm going to be working on that this week, but the plan is next Monday going live, if anybody's interested in joining me. And then of course it'll be up later, like the rest of the videos, but this will be cool because I think we'll be able to talk, you know, as I'm doing it and look into things. It'll be cool. I think it'll be cool. It's a learning experience. But I want to say have a beautiful night. Have a lovely day. I hope you guys get to sleep. I hope I didn't keep you up too long. I hope you have a beautiful day ahead of you, and you go hug that tree. Go put niceness and kindness out there. Keep our friends here in this beautiful corner of the internet in your prayers who need it, and just keep going, right? We just keep going, and we keep being positive, and we keep having each other in this whole thing. So I'm going to say goodnight to my amazing grandma and my family, and just everyone out there, you beautiful souls. I want the best for you. So This is Debbie, and I'm signing off. Good night.